في سهل سالسبيري بمقاطعة ويلتشير جنوب غرب بريطانيا. تنتصب هذه الأحجار الضخمة بتنسيق مدهش وغامض منذ آلاف السنين. إنها آثار ستونهنج المدرجة على قائمة التراث العالمي، والتي حيرت ومازالت علماء الآثار والباحثين.
Is there something about it that draws me to it? I think motivation is one of the hardest questions you can ever ask a human being about.
تساؤلات كثيرة تدور حول كيفية بنائها بهذه الدقة منذ 5000 عام، وما هو الهدف من إنشائها ولأي غرض. أبحاث ودراسات أفرزت روايات متعددة تحاول فك شفرة ستونهنج، حيث ترجح إحداها أنه تم نقل الأحجار الزرقاء العملاقة عبر نهر جليدي. وقياسا لذاك العصر المغرق في القدم، لم تكن عملية نقل أحجار يصل وزن بعضها إلى 22 طناً أمراً سهلاً، خاصة وأن المسافة على امتداد 225 كيلومتراً من ويلز منشأ هذه الحجارة إلى بريطانيا.
Long stay here, understanding that they probably didn't drag them all the way here because you've got Durrington walls just there, and there are actually 110 of these, I believe.
وروايات أخرى أقرب إلى الأسطورة تتحدث عن رجال عمالقة اصطحبهم ساحر إيرلندي إلى هنا للرقص بشكل دائري، وبعدها تمت عملية بناء الأحجار الضخمة من العمالقة أنفسهم بمكان آثار أقدامهم كنصب تذكاري للموتى. وهذا يقود للغرض من بناء هذا المعلم المهيب، إذ تشير الدراسات والأبحاث ولا تجزم أنه قد يكون الهدف من بنائه على شكل دائري ليكون ساعة شمسية ورزنامة ومكانا للاحتفال بتبدل المواسم والفصول.
We're lucky that it's clear, and we're also lucky in that for the first time in a very long time, all of the 5 visible to the naked eye planets are going to be lined up in a string preceding the sunrise.
وتذهب أخرى إلى أن ستونهنج تم بناؤه ليكون آلة رصد فلكي، وأخرى ترجح أنه كان معبداً في ذلك العصر. ورغم كل المحاولات البحثية والعلمية لحل لغز ستونهنج، تبقى الحكايات الأسطورية هي الطاغية حول مكان عجيب أشبه بمعجزة.
Hi, I'm Simon Banton, and I moved locally about 16 years ago, particularly so I could be near Stonehenge and in this landscape. I've been researching it for about 30 years or so, and I'm what's called an archaeoastronomer, and that's somebody who studies humanity's relationship with the sky going all the way back into prehistory.
I live over there and I've never been here, can you believe? And I drive past all the time and I've never actually been here, so that's terrible. So today is the day.
I live in Durrington. I've been here for about 7 or 8 years, but my wife's family all grew up here. So yeah, because we live locally, we can go free whenever we want. To be honest, what we normally do is if we're going on a long walk or a bike ride, we'll go from here, we'll go to Woodhenge, and then you can, basically it's about, I think about 2 miles from Woodhenge to Stonehenge, so you can just walk through all the farmers' fields. So we don't actually go into Stonehenge, we just kind of go up to the fence. Yeah, for me, it's just, yeah, I probably go, 4 or 5 times from Woodhenge to Stonehenge over the summer, see if she can make it or she gets worn out on the way, and that's about it really. So yeah.
Well, it's such a big focal point, isn't it, for us? So, and we've got Salisbury, and we've got Salisbury Cathedral, we've got Sarum, Old Sarum, which is an old hill fort.
I'm Reese Bliscoe. I'm local to Stonehenge. It's only 2 miles up the road. This was commissioned by the landlord. With a little bit of research, anything's possible if you've got to believe. You know what I'm saying? And this is an alignment off of 80 degrees south of magnetic north is the true meridian line to summer solstice.
Great one of heaven, power of the sun.
Great one of heaven, power of the sun.
We call upon thee in thine ancient names.
We call upon thee in thine ancient names.
And the people who put that post up are hunters and gatherers. They're part of the Mesolithic society, the Middle Stone Age. And clearly they erected this thing as some kind of monument. We don't really know. Hunters and gatherers don't generally create monuments. They just don't do that. We don't find it in the culture, certainly in Western Europe.
Well, I think it was for the Druids for sacrificial reasons, but I think it was a place for sacrificial reasons where they would give to the gods. That's what they believed.
I know it's dust. It's the same as people that think aliens visit and make pretty patterns in crop fields. It's just land art, it's just men. Bits of wood, a design, clever.
First explanation is magic, but if you look at it and you can't understand how they did it, you think it can't be humans. So 700 years ago, that means magic, yeah, or giants, or a combination of giants and magic. By the time we get to the late 20th century and we've started thinking about flying saucers and extraterrestrials in the cosmos, it must be aliens, because we don't understand how we could have done it. Same with the pyramids, same with anything that you look at and you think, I don't see how humans could do that. You've either got to go to magic or God or aliens. And so that's why people think Stonehenge is built by aliens.
I wouldn't have a clue, in terms of aliens or men. It's don't get me wrong, I suppose it's a mystery of how they got these stones on top of each other, but I can only think what I say. It's I don't know about aliens in all honesty. Maybe, who knows?
It's really what's that, secret of nature, I think. Nobody knows about the builders.
it still doesn't feel like they've definitely kind of identified how they got all the stones there, and I heard bits like they might have come from Wales and they different techniques to get it there. So it's quite kind of interesting. And I think as well now I think it's something like a lot of it is not original anymore and stuff from they've had to replace things and stuff over time. But you know, I suppose it's just significant for people that are spiritual and all that kind of stuff that goes with it.
They come from Wales, 150 miles in that direction over there to the west. That's where the smaller stones at Stonehenge come from. Yeah, the big ones are local. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. So this Neolithic society, now we've got to 3000 BC, 500 years after the long barrows and cursuses and causewayed enclosures and all the rest of it, they create this circular bank and ditch, these 56 Aubrey holes with maybe the bluestones in them, and that's their Stonehenge.
You think all them years ago, you didn't have roads, not roads for motor vehicles, so everything was pulled along by cattle, horses. So you've only got to look at them stones and think, how? Where there's a will, there's a way.
Long stay of the year, understanding that they probably didn't drag them all the way here because you've got Durrington walls just there, and there are actually 110 of these, I believe, buried. So Stonehenge was probably built with the remnants of the Superhenge that was in Durrington walls, because those stones are gone. But all that's left is probably about a quarter or a third of the big stones that were there. So where's the rest gone then?
This is obviously where the fire was here, and these are sleeping areas, laying and sleeping, storage with meat and food and different things. Whether they kept the cattle in here, I'm not sure, to keep the place warm at times, small ones. When I was, many years ago, we would go to Stonehenge in a coach, and you were allowed to climb and get on the stones and climb certain bits and get on a long time before any of this was about. But very interesting. Bronze Age people going back 4,000 to 6,000 years. They're not sure. They are sure now. There's a lot more things have been found, but they've got more data now through bones and this type of thing. They're living here. They're farming. They've stopped gathering. Hunter-gatherers they were, but they settled, and they realised that by keeping cattle, they could survive the winter with their own cattle.
Heart to heart and hand in hand. Mark, O Spirit, and hear us now, confirming this our sacred vow. Fight the bars of darkness. Give us.
Then, over the course of the year, the sunrise changes and it starts to move southwards, 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 until by the time you get to the winter solstice sunrise, it's that direction, over Conybeare Hill. And that line runs along the centre of the altar stone, through the monument, out through the notch in the direction of the summer solstice sunset.
Where I am there, your end down there, the sun rises over there, behind you, and it cuts through here. So this one's just fallen over, which would have been here. And that, the altar stone there, would have been sat on top, basically, same as this. And it's in between this and the hill stone behind you is where the sun would have rose from that direction there. So that is the morning sun. That's where it pops up. And that is basically the birth of the longest day of the year.
The summer solstice sunset is directly opposite the winter solstice sunrise, so it's over there into those trees on that horizon. And the winter sunset, which is opposite the summer sunrise, is straight through the middle of the monument. This stone here is the heel stone, the index stone, and if you look through the monument you can see that there's a very obvious doorway. There's a very tall stone with a point on top of it at the back of the monument. That's the the tallest trilithon. Its uprights framed the setting sun at winter solstice. So summer sunrise, winter sunset, winter sunrise, summer sunset. That's the astronomy of the sun at Stonehenge.
I should imagine they learned over the years, they saw the sun go round and then slow down. Like this time of the year, around midsummer, the sun doesn't move that much. And then they obviously put a stone, well, that stone there, to mark midsummer. And then you've got, there's one single stone over there which marks, I think it's the winter sunset, that one over there. And then that one over there marks winter sunrise. Yeah, sunrise is there, summer. Sunrise is over there in the winter. But from the middle of the stone, so it'll be over there. So yeah, it's a big calendar.
So that is the deliberate entrance, and that's what admits the beam of sunlight on the summer solstice sunrise, and it allows the beam of sunlight back out at the winter solstice sunset on that primary alignment. So that's deliberate. The engineering is very clever in that way.
A lot of people say they see orbs, but like little balls of light, but mainly they get captured here on the solstice when people are allowed in and they can walk in amongst the stones, and you can have 3,000 to 5,000 people in this field, and because it's still dark, for me it's dust particles showing up on the camera because they're lit up from people's lights or your light on your camera. But the people that want to believe there's something else, they say they're orbs.
So here in the centre of Woodhenge, we're surrounded by these concrete markers that mark where the archaeologists in the 1920s found lots and lots of wooden post hole pits. And they're different sized markers relating to the different diameters of the posts that they found the post holes for. So you've got 6 concentric ovals, thin one, slightly fatter one, big fat one, then thin, 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 from the outside to the inside. And for a long time people thought that meant this was a roofed structure with the really fat ones supporting a ring beam, and the thinner ones supporting the roof going up to that central ring beam. But we don't think that anymore. We now think this is just a timber circle of 6 concentric ovals of different width posts.
It is most of our spiritual homes. The people that come and spend a lot of time in Wiltshire, there is a feeling to the area, of course there is. I don't know whether it's ley lines, stones, aliens, who knows?
It's very relaxing. It's incredible, really, looking at the actual stones themselves and seeing what it is. It's incredible. It's not everywhere, you know, every day I come to Stonehenge after work or something like that, but it's amazing.
Which is all connected to this, so we are steeped in history around here.
When I look through my camera lens, I can see the beautiful clouds and how majestic it looks. And looking at my camera, I can see something.
It was very impressive just to see, you know, especially seeing where we're at in the middle of nowhere, and then those stones had to get here somehow, you know. It's a big feat for them to come all the way here.
I mean, I think it definitely has something about it because all the crows and everything, the way they all gather around the, you know, maybe there is something.
Very special, very, very special. And it's not just here. There are feelings. I used to live in a village not far from here, and I don't know if you've heard of ley lines. You have a feeling, or I certainly do, when I used to walk my dog up there. You just get a feeling of connection with the earth, I suppose.
There's nothing like being in the middle of that circle. There's a special feeling. It feels like you've walked into an enclosed space, even though there are gaps between the stones and there's no roof over it. It does feel like it's a specially enclosed area.